from Terminini from deep.
My.
Unbelievable. He unleashes just power.
Placement to the upper 90 back post, and the lead is ultimately asking the question, like, was this the best match of futsal on U.S. soil? From a perspective of an entire 40 minutes of futsal, two teams that are playing really good futsal. It's back and forth, but not because it's chaotic.
The intensity just kept increasing.
Yeah.
And it started at kickoff.
Very little drop off or mistake, and they just keep playing that really good futsal. This is what it's supposed to look like right here. There's no doubt that the environment, it's a part of what makes the game what it is. But I think like this is a game that if you took all that away and you just watched the game, it would be amazing still. They're currently down 2. Here's Hindich at the near post. She slots it in. What a placement.
Yeah, fantastic.
From number 9,
placement.
Medina Hindich. So take another look.
That's what,
wow.
You know, Ole has to be frustrated with the goalkeeping.
I was pleasantly surprised with how we did. I feel like we did compete to the level that we could. I think you could definitely tell, like, our lack of experience. I think some of our goals were generally just some mistakes, and I think it's like a combination of nerves and just not, having the experience playing at the pace that we were playing. It's really fast, and I think if we tighten that up, like, we could have, stayed really, like, there with them, which is cool. I think for our first game, especially going against a team like Ole, I was really proud of the way we played.
Yeah.
Made a fantastic play. You want to make that pass to the back foot and really give your teammate an opportunity just to slide it home first time, but Aldama was not able to handle it.
Midwest are able to work it up. How about this back post? A pretty goal. Raul Montañez doubles the lead.
Look, Aldama could not handle the pass to put it away himself, so he said, you know what, Montañez, I'm going to give it back to you, Raul. With a little back heel flick, just roll over, give it back to him. Montañez ending the attack.
Kleppel now with it. Space inside. Shot. He finds the back of the net. Lansing City up by 1.
We haven't said it yet this season, but what a rocket from Jeremy Kleppel across.
Lyle turning his back, trying to get in front of it and also protect himself as Kleppel finds the side net and gives Lansing.
Nice run out of here at Lansing City. Oh, excellent play. Lansing City with a goal. We were just talking about Ole's ability to make the extra pass, and wouldn't you know it, Lansing City does the same exact thing.
Like, if I'm a fan of Midwest and I watch that game, and we have what I would be, in my opinion, one of the best keepers in the league. And he's not playing the second half.
And to Marco, what we saw, he gave up 6 goals. Lucario was in there for 20 minutes. First half, didn't give up any. And so, like, that's a huge disparity. Sliding tackle, and if Montez saved that, outstanding effort as well.
Lansing City in the attack, moving it. Blanco, did he make it? He did, says the referee. Goal number 4 for Lansing City. They pull ahead.
It was a pass to Blanco.
Yeah, Blanco
got it.
Yeah, Blanco touched it. Did you hear me say Blanco puts it away? That's all right. It hit the inside back post. I just have to mention before we move on here, that game was so amazing. You know how many players under the age of 20 were part of it?
A lot.
Oh my goodness.
A lot of
Ethan Castaneda, there's been times where something that he does in the game is exposed, or mistakes and things like that. He was amazing in this game. Last week against Jinga he was, and in this game he played really well, and I think the things that Lansing City have been investing in are starting to pay off. Gomez putting heavy pressure on. And here he is. He finishes. Ole go up by 1.
And when you think about the addition of Daniel De Leon and what he means to this team, we told you that he was the assist leader last season. The goal, outstanding effort from De Leon to create that. Really good positioning and understanding.
We're ticking down to the final moments. Shoreline City trying to put something together. Aldoni Mendez, he's shielding off Hasevic's toe post, finds the back of the net. Shoreline's up by 1 with a minute to play.
Wow, Aldoni Mendez just showing his intelligence to shield the ball, to not let Hasevic come through, and just to prevent, I mean, Hasevic is pulling at him, just to prevent any.
Mackenzie plays it in, gets it right back to Ramsey Termanini. Weisenhunt's across. Whoa! Hold up! Ramsey Termanini from the circle.
And just like that, Jenga is back in this match. What a shot from Termanini from deep.
My.
Unbelievable. He unleashes just power.
Placement to the upper 90 back post, and the lead is ultimately asking the question, like, was this the best match of futsal on U.S. soil? From a perspective of an entire 40 minutes of futsal, two teams that are playing really good futsal. It's back and forth, but not because it's chaotic.
The intensity just kept increasing.
Yeah.
And it started at kickoff.
Very little drop-off or mistake, and they just keep playing that really good futsal. This is what it's supposed to look like right here. There's no doubt that the environment, it's a part of what makes the game what it is. But I think like this is a game that if you took all that away and you just watched the game, it would be amazing still. They're currently down 2. Here's Hindich at the near post. She slots it in. What a placement.
Yeah, fantastic.
From number 9,
placement.
Medina Hindich. So we take another look.
That's what,
wow.
You know, Ole has to be frustrated with the goalkeeping.
I was pleasantly surprised with how we did. I feel like we did compete to the level that we could. I think you could definitely tell like our lack of experience. I think some of our goals were generally just some mistakes, and I think it's like a combination of nerves and just not, having the experience playing at the pace that we were playing. It's really fast, and I think if we tighten that up, like we could have, stayed.
Yeah.
Really like there with them, which is cool. I think for our first game, especially going against a team like Ole, I was really proud of the way we played.
Yeah.
Made a fantastic play. You want to make that pass to the back foot and really give your teammate an opportunity just to slide it home first time, but Aldama was not able to handle it.
Midwest are able to work it up. How about this back post? A pretty goal. Raul Montañez doubles the lead.
Look, Aldama could not handle the pass to put it away himself, so he said, you know what, Montañez, I'm going to give it back to you, Raul. With a little back heel flick, just roll over, give it back to him. Montañez ending the attack.
Kluppel now with it. Space inside. Shot. He finds the back of the net. Lansing City up by 1.
We haven't said it yet this season, but what a rocket from Jeremy Kleppel across.
Lyle turning his back, trying to get in front of it and also protect himself as Kleppel finds the side net and gives Lansing.
Nice run out of here, Lansing City. Oh, excellent play. Lansing City with a goal. We were just talking about Ole's ability to make the extra pass, and wouldn't you know it, Lansing City does the same exact thing.
Like, if I'm a fan of Midwest and I watch that game, and we have what I would be, in my opinion, one of the best keepers in the league, and he's not playing the second half.
And to Marco, what we saw, he gave up 6 goals. Lucario was in there for 20 minutes. First half, didn't give up any. And so, that's a huge disparity. Sliding tackle, and if Montez saved that, outstanding effort as well.
Lansing City in the attack, moving it. Blanco, did he make it? He did, says the referee. Goal number 4 for Lansing City. They pull ahead.
There's a pass to Blanco.
Yeah, Blanco
got
touched
it.
Yeah, Blanco
wow.
touched it.
Great
Did you hear me
effort.
say Blanco puts it away? That's all right. It hit the inside back post. I just have to mention before we move on here, that game was so amazing. You know how many players under the age of 20 were a part of it?
A lot.
Oh my goodness.
A lot of them.
Ethan Castaneda, there's been times where something that he does in the game is exposed, or mistakes and things like that. He was amazing in this game. Last week against Jinga he was, and in this game he played really well, and I think the things that Lansing City have been investing in are starting to pay off. Gomez putting heavy pressure on. And here he is. He finishes. Olay go up by 1.
And when you think about the addition of Daniel De Leon and what he means to this team, we told you that he was the assist leader last season. The goal, outstanding effort from De Leon to create that really good positioning and understanding.
We're ticking down to the final moments. Shoreline City trying to put something together. Aldoni Mendez, he's shielding off Hasevic's toe poke, finds the back of the net. Shoreline's up by 1 with a minute to play.
Wow, Aldoni Mendez just... There were 3 red cards in that game. 3 red cards.
You could see it on their faces, like they would hit the post again and they'd be like, what is happening?
And they only gave up 4 goals?
But it wasn't
In
competitive.
40 minutes?
It wasn't competitive.
4 goals!
A sign that a fan has made, a fan of Capital Futsal made it. Chicago House is grabbing the sign, holding it up, and they're passing it around.
The ball sticks to his feet. Like, I don't think that you should have seen him at practice last night. He was just toying with us. I ain't gonna lie.
What level of crazy do you need to be a goalkeeper in futsal?
11. No one woke up one day and said, I want to be a keeper today. I didn't want to be a goalie.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Third Half Podcast on the very first day of 2026, or as people who are uncultured say, 2026. I don't know, that's just, I feel like everyone says 20 by now. 2026, January 1st, it's today, and we have a very special third half for you guys. Joining me tonight is a player that we've seen in the FCS this year, in the FCS for the first time this year, playing for Shoreline City. I actually personally had the pleasure of playing with him at Lansing City back, you know, can I say back in the day now? I don't know. We're not that old, right? I don't know. No. But got a chance to play with him, and now he joins the show. Excited for you guys to get a chance to meet him and hear what he has to say about what's going on around the league today. So please join me in welcoming Alex Mendez of Shoreline City. Alex, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate you having me here as well.
Yeah, I'm glad that we were able to make it work to have you on the show tonight. So first portion of the show, we're going to get to know Alex a little bit about his kind of story in the game of futsal. Also, some very interesting things that happen in your life in soccer as well. That'll be really interesting to hear about. Do you guys have any questions for Alex? Put them in the chat, and maybe they'll be featured on the show. After we have a portion of that, we'll talk about the games that happened in the most recent action. Took a week off in the FCS, but the games most recent, Jinga in Chicago, as well as the battle for Grand Rapids, Olay and Midwest. So we'll be talking about those. And, of course, the 2 doubleheaders coming up this weekend. Alex and his team are going to be a part of one of them. They'll be facing Olay as well as their women's team. And then the Lansing team travels to Chicago, both men and women. And that's the 4 games this week. And that's all coming up right here on the third half. But to start, Alex, from Shoreline City. Hey, you lead the league in goals and assists.
Yeah.
Crazy, huh?
It's crazy to hear that, but
yeah,
we work really hard too.
Yeah, well, it's kind of clear when you're watching the games. A lot of the offense kind of runs through you very well. When you're up there in the pivot spot and you get the ball and you distribute well. So when you really watch the games, it's not a surprise that you're the current leader in that. And of course, you guys have 5 games played. Some teams don't have 5, but that's where things are at right now. Awesome. So let's start by going back to. We had a chance to chat a little bit beforehand, so I was kind of putting together this little timeline a little bit. So let's just start with your introduction to the game of futsal. It sounds like you grew up playing soccer. That was like a part of your life. Was that just like a part of the family you grew up in, the culture you're in? Like, how did you get started even just like in the game of soccer?
So, I'm one of 8.
Okay.
So I have 7 siblings, 2
Wow.
sisters, and the rest are brothers. And I'm the youngest one. So
Okay. Hey, youngest baby, let's
youngest
go.
One.
I love it.
It's always nice being the youngest one, but I got to learn from them.
Okay.
And
Wow.
We're very known for soccer in Grand Rapids, especially the last name.
Yeah.
And I think that's been a lot. Learning from them and seeing how much they taught me as well.
Wow.
Growing up. So it's very nice to be able to have that in your life,
Yeah.
a big family like that really loves the game.
That's amazing. So it's kind of just like in your family, in your blood a little bit, and you had brothers to look up to, which is amazing. So that was how you got into the just the world of soccer, and then of course getting into futsal. Do you recall kind of like your first introduction to the game of futsal?
Yeah, if I'm correct, yeah. Well, I started playing ASO. And
Okay.
then, back in the day, it was actually Fabian.
Okay.
Fabian Rodriguez that, he used to coach at Pass FC. It's another club. But he came to watch me play. He asked me, hey, you want to come play on my team? At the time, it was Pass. But then, he always had futsal.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but he always loved futsal, so he would put us in a league. I think it was in the YMCA we would play.
YMCA
Yeah,
futsal.
YMCA
baby.
futsal,
All right.
and then,
all right.
I think flying kick as well. I think Caesar last week mentioned flying kick. Fabio was the coach back then, and he got me in there playing 3 years up, but I was still playing. And
Wow.
That's where I think I got the idea of futsal.
Wow. And what was your age maybe at that point? Rough idea.
I could say probably 5, 6 years old
Wow.
when I started playing with Fabio.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think for many players, even in the FCS, that would probably be seen as a huge advantage to get to know the game of futsal at that young of an age.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's an advantage.
That's awesome.
I think the more you play it, the better you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So if you start earlier and you have a good coach, of course, I think you're gonna pick up a lot of it. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Looks like you have a couple of players that want to say hi to you from Guatemala FC. Yeah, no, sorry, the monitor's a little bit in the way. Aiden and Santiago want to say, hey, coach.
Hey, what's up, boys?
Hey, so
they play on my 2016 team.
Okay.
They're actually going to be competing here in the Futures, FC
Okay,
Futures. So.
awesome. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the FCS Futures in a bit because it's super cool. I know you're one of the coaches for one of those teams, and like you said, they'll be playing in the Futures. So back to your kind of story. So you got involved very early, and then what did your journey in futsal look like kind of in those early years? Like maybe take me to the high school, maybe graduating from high school. How did things start to shape up for you in this game?
Yeah, so I've always thought that I was better at futsal than soccer. Just a whole different game. I was a difference maker in futsal, and I think the biggest thing was that I really loved it.
Wow.
It was in my blood. I really loved it, and I think I started taking it more serious than actual soccer.
Wow.
But at soccer I played as a cam, and futsal I could play anywhere, pivot, ala. At the time it was nice. So
wow.
But I think it's just playing ABK.
Okay.
Yeah, all that was nice. I learned a lot from Fabian, because Fabian, I think honestly he's probably the best coach that could exist here, probably in Michigan, or he's probably top in the country, because he knows a lot of the game, and I would always appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, but after playing youth years, and then playing in that regionals, and then going to Kansas sometimes and playing nationals. I think that was important throughout the sport and wanting to learn more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I remember when we were chatting before the show, you said that you actually back in I think it was 2016 or so, you actually had some time with the U.S. national team under Keith Tozer playing futsal. Tell us about that experience and like when in your life that was and what that was like.
I think it started in 2015. So I got invited to go do the youth national team trials in Kansas, and they liked the way I played, so they decided to call me up for a camp in Costa Rica, where they took all the youth teams, and we played like 4 games over there. I think in 4 games I had like 15 goals. So then Keith Tozer, he was like, yeah, I was 16 at the time.
Okay.
He's like, I'm going to call you up for the men's team.
Wow.
And so I already had that in the back of my mind. I was like, it's going to happen. And, the first call-up, I think it was qualifications in Guatemala. So where my family's from. So I really wanted to go to that.
Yeah.
But at the time, I played for Davenport as well. So it conflicted because we had nationals to go to with Davenport, so they didn't let me go.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't get to go there. And then I don't know if USA qualified that year, but they had another camp in February the next year, and they called me up for that. It was in Croatia.
Okay. So
that was a really nice experience. We got to travel out there and play, Italy, Slovenia, Croatia, Slovakia, and this the level over there is a whole different story. I was telling you here, what you guys are doing with the big court size is amazing, because you get to over there, that's all they play on.
Wow.
We were used to playing in, like, at the time it was Jenga, just a small court, and MSA Sports Spot. It's about that size, and then you get over there, and it's like, dude.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's a whole different thing, man.
A whole different thing.
Yeah.
Give us a snapshot into. You say like the level there is wild, right?
Yeah.
So give us like a little picture. Maybe it was like a memory or a moment that was like you kind of realized like wow, the level is here is different. Like give us like a picture of what that was like.
I think just the way they see the game, it's like. They're already thinking 2-3 steps ahead of you.
Wow.
I think the biggest thing that I still remember is the set plays.
Okay.
Their set plays were insane. Like they would do one set play here, next corner kick, they're doing something else. They already know it. They're all like on the same page. One of the goals I remember is just like they would both run in, flick it, and they're just volleying every time, and it would go in. I was like, dude, how are they doing that? But it's just that's why Europe is just different.
Yeah.
I think. But I think for futsal, I think Brazil is up there, and even Guatemala.
Yeah.
Guatemala actually competes in that. So it's nice. It's a good memory that I have, a good experience.
Yeah.
That, I got the opportunity to do that when I was younger. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So then after that time, you come back. You come back from Croatia, but after that opportunity, then what came next in futsal? Is that when you started? Is that when we started to play on the same team? I can't remember if that was around that time or not.
Yeah, I think it was around that time.
Okay.
Where, before then I would play with ABK with their youth team. Then all this happened, and then I decided to come here to Lansing because I think Jeremy contacted me because I think I started here, and then I brought Aldoni with me. Yeah. And that's when we really got into it, and we were playing here, and it was a good time. I think it was at Aim High.
Yep.
But it was a good time.
Yeah, I remember that. It was kind of fun when you walked in and we were talking about, because before the arena was the arena, it was just like sport court and drop ceiling like it is in here, and it was being prepared to be like the court. Right. But we were still training, and so every training it'd be like another ceiling tile comes down, another hole in the drywall.
Jeremy's like, no worries, no worries.
It's okay. It's gonna be
a stadium.
It's gonna be a stadium. And then you get to see it, which is really cool. Yeah. So that was a fun experience, getting to play with you. Even just like I remember the difference that you would make on our teams. And I told you this when you came in before we went live. I was like, you just would sometimes have the ball and there's a defender in front of you, and then somehow you're on the other side and you're about to score. And I'm like, I don't know how you did this,
crazy,
but this is amazing. So that was a fun time when you played with Lansing City. and it's special to be a part of that for me. And then that kind of brings us to, if I'm not mistaken, you had a chance shortly after that to play outdoor in Guatemala.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what that was like for you.
So at the time, I played with Grand Rapids FC.
Okay.
So that team decided, they were on, I think, preseason. So they took a trip out here in Grand Rapids because I don't know how you call that, but the people that invited them, they're just trying to sell tickets. And
Okay. Yeah.
so they got a game to come out here in Grand Rapids, and, GRFC was the team at the time. So I think they rented out Houseman Field, so that thing was packed.
Wow.
Packed. And, I was like, hey, I got dual citizenship, and I'm going to work my butt off, try and show what I got. And
Yeah.
that day, I think I scored and assisted against the team name is Xelajú.
Okay.
And they immediately, they were like, oh, you're Guatemalan, you want to go?
Wow.
They offered me a contract, and they were like, okay, let's go. The only, I did leave Aquinas with 1 year left because of that, but that was a good experience too. I went out there, I was there for almost a year, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, it didn't quite work out.
Yeah.
You were telling me that in your off time you had an injury, which was really, those are obviously, it's really tough, especially when it's like a major one.
Right.
And then that, I'm sure there's people who maybe can relate to that, athletes that can relate to that like all of a sudden the directions that you're going in sports, suddenly you're like shifted because of like a bad injury.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, what was that like for you, and how did you kind of handle it, and where did you go from there?
Yeah, no, it was tough, coming to visit family and just playing in Hispanic League, and, you tear your ACL. You don't know what that is, but you hear that pop in your knee and that pain. It sucked. I knew I was done for at least for a while.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It was definitely life-changing. I think I learned a lot because, back then I was a man. I was like, oh, yeah. Then training every day because I loved the game.
Yeah.
I loved soccer, futsal. I was always doing something every day. But then, that happened. It's just like a lot of stuff just comes through. Depression hits, everything.
Wow.
It's like your life changes because, you're so used to playing ball, and then it all goes away in a second. So,
wow.
But, I always had that mindset, like, I'm going to try and overcome this. Like, I want to get back on the court. And, sometimes I would cry just watching my brothers play.
Wow.
And I was like, I just want to be out there. But I couldn't. I was in so much pain trying to get back. But
wow.
I did it, though. I'm just happy to be playing again.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really cool to hear. And obviously that's a, really tough thing to go through. But wow. That's really my reaction. It's like, wow, that's like you really shared. I really appreciate you sharing that. That's like a meaningful, piece there. Okay, and then after that time, you weren't able to go back to play an outdoor because of the injury.
Right.
So then you kind of stay in the States.
Right.
But then you got married shortly after that. Or is that when you met?
I think I met my now wife.
Okay, around that time.
Around that time, so I think it was we met in January. I think for around this time.
Okay.
So, but I had gone back to Guatemala, and then we continued texting and everything. So, when I came back, I was like, we started hanging out. So
yeah.
But I knew she was the one. She was, we had that connection, and I think we loved each other right away. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, so she came into my life, and she was there through that process with the injury. Wow. She was always taking care of me, and I think it worked out. So
yeah,
after that we got married. Now we have a beautiful daughter. So
that's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so awesome, man.
Yeah.
I love that. End of the show, everybody.
Let's go home.
No, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's see if we have any questions maybe from the chat. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So you talked about your siblings growing up. Was there ever kind of like sibling rivalry? Did you guys ever play in opposite teams or anything like that?
See, I do remember Aldoni. We played college soccer against each other. He was at Aquinas. I was at Davenport.
Okay.
And I always looked up to him. I always say it to anybody. He was a couple years older than me. He would always, let's go play 1v1. We had a whole field in front of our house, so we would go 1v1 against each other. But I always looked up to him. I don't think I ever had like a competition against him. I would never think about it that way. But I would watch him play, you know, and I was like, what can I learn from him?
Yeah.
And, you know, he would help me out a lot too. So
that's really cool.
But yeah, my other brothers too, they're good players. Age is getting to them now, so they don't really play much now. But yeah, I learned a lot from them as well. You know, they always supported me through that process because they knew I had the talent and stuff. So they would always help me, you know, with money to travel and stuff. So
wow,
yeah, it's amazing what they've done. And you know, now that I actually have a nephew he's playing in Mexico right now with Pachuca.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard of that, but he's Daniel Mendez, and he's killing it out there too. So we just keep, you know, producing more players.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Aiden in the chat saying he remember having competition shooting the ball through the wall here at the arena. Yeah, we would. Who can get it out into that space? Yeah, I just remember it got to the point where it's just like the ceiling tiles are just like everywhere, and you're like,
me and Aldoni always talk about that. It's so funny. When Jerry would just shoot, there's another hole on the wall. It's crazy.
Don't worry. It's fine. And there you go. Here's the arena. That's amazing. Okay, here's another one from Luke. So here on camera, you kind of have a calm and quiet demeanor, but on the court, it's definitely clear you're a fierce competitor. Can you speak to that, like to your court mentality?
I think it just it has a lot to do with, you know, the levels I've played. I've always been a competitor. I hate to lose, man. I still remember when I was probably 8 years old. I would play in a tournament. We lost. I would be crying on the bench. This little kid just crying.
Yeah.
And I still remember that my dad, my brother, Zapaton Anmer is his name. He would always get on me and like, why are you crying? Why are you crying? You should have worked harder then. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, okay, but it's always that. I hate losing. But you know, you get to a training. Let's say, for example, in Guatemala, I got there. The first thing they do is swear at you.
Wow.
It's like all that stuff is like, okay, there's levels to it. You can be competitive in the field, talk the right way, but don't take it to heart. You know, it's all part of the game. It's all part of the game. So in the games, you know, I like to be on top of people. Like, hey, let's go, so we can all stay on the same page and you know, be tough on each other, but the correct way.
Yeah. Wow. So another area that I want to talk about, and then we'll probably be ready to go to a commercial on to the next portion. But something that you've talked about here is your coaching of Guatemala. I think U10 is what you said.
Yeah.
When did you get involved in coaching? So
before I traveled to Guatemala, I used to coach for Michigan Fire at the time.
Okay.
I took that. So then I left to play professionally. Then I took a little break because I actually got really like close with those boys.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I don't think I'll find another group like that.
Wow.
So, you know, now I decided last year to start like a little Guatemala juniors. I know a lot of friends that had, you know, kids around the same age.
Yeah.
So I started making 2 teams. Some were playing up and you know, seeing them start and not being able to dribble a ball, and now you see them receiving the ball with the soul. It's amazing. So it's I think one of them commented, Kelvin, he's my cousin, and he's had a lot to do with it because he's always like, dude, come on, you got to coach my kids. Let's go. Let's start this. Let's go. And, you know, it's amazing because now these boys, like, I got a good group of boys, and this all started last year. I also coach at MFA.
Okay.
MFA is a outdoor team, so it's just all those boys, you know, you're teaching them your knowledge of the game, and, you know, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah.
Just seeing that is amazing, and then, you know, you see them on the court or on the field, and they're doing what you're teaching them. It's a great feeling. I think he talked about that last week too.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel the same way.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think is really interesting about, like, finding out more and more players in the FCS that are also coaching. And it just adds this like layer of depth to not only like getting to know you as a player and people watching getting to know you as a player, but also just like it shows some level of like commitment to the game of futsal that goes beyond just playing. It's like, how can I be a part of the future of someone else's futsal?
Right.
Which is so cool.
It's so cool. Yeah. I think every day, you know, I don't care if it's snowing out. Like, I want to go.
Yeah.
I want to be there. It's something that, you know, I really loved it. It's changed my life.
Wow.
And I know I'm changing these kids' lives. So it's like even the parents, you get the satisfaction that the parents are saying thank you. They're learning a lot.
Yeah.
Those little things are just amazing. And, you're producing players that one day they might make it. You never know.
Yeah.
And you're getting them ready for those moments. So
yeah, that's really cool. What would you say is the most rewarding part of being a coach, or like your favorite part of being a coach?
There's a lot of them, but I think if I had to pick one, it's just showing the knowledge and the love at the same time of the game. Teaching them those moments that you've gone through, and one day they're gonna have to go through this life. Life is, it can go up and it can go down. So just teaching them those moments as a young kid, and letting them love the game like we do, and one day they can be special as well.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. Very cool. So it looks like there's a comment about wearing a lot of hats, and 7 a.m. game against you. Does that mean anything to you?
7 a.m.
Maybe it's not. I don't know. It sounds like someone's playing.
Yeah. I think we play Shoreline in a tournament soon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's at 7 a.m. So we were talking about that with Cody.
They're
like, bro, you got to get that game changed, man. I'm not trying to be there at 7 in the morning. And then, they're driving from Muskegon, so they got to leave like at 5.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's like, we got to get that changed.
That's hilarious. That's wild.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Alex Mendez of Shoreline City, everybody. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, it's going to be he's still going to be here. Don't worry. So if you have any questions you want to get in, feel free to ask them. But we're also going to be getting into what has been going on in the FCS recently and what's to come, including the Shoreline City Ole matchup that's coming up, which I don't know if Cito said this on the show last week, but he was telling me that this could be even a bigger rivalry than the Midwest and Ole. And
I'm glad they see it that way.
They see it that way. So we'll see. We'll see. And more of that coming up. Full thoughts. That was just kind of like a teaser. So full thoughts on that coming up in just a little bit. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the other side. We're ticking down to the final moments. Shoreline City trying to put something together. Aldoni Mendez, he's shielding off Hasevic's toe poke, finds the back of the net. Shoreline's up by 1 with a minute to play.
Wow, Aldoni Mendez just showing his intelligence to shield the ball, to not let Hasevic come through, and just to prevent, Hasevic is pulling at him, just to prevent any.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Go into the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Mackenzie plays it in, gets it right back to Ramsey Terminini. Weisenhunt's across. Whoa! Hold up! Ramsey Terminini from the circle.
And just like that, Jenga is back in this match. What a shot from Terminini from deep.
My.
Unbelievable. He unleashes just power.
Placement to the upper 90 back post, and the lead is ultimately asking the question, like, was this the best match of futsal on U.S. soil? From a perspective of an entire 40 minutes of futsal, 2 teams that are playing really good futsal. It's back and forth, but not because it's chaotic.
The intensity just kept increasing.
Yeah.
And it started at kickoff,
very little drop off or mistake, and they just keep playing that really good futsal. This is what it's supposed to look like right here. There's no doubt that the environment, it's a part of what makes the game what it is. But I think like this is a game that if you took all that away and you just watched the game, it would be amazing still.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
They're currently down 2. Here's Hindich at the near post. She slots it in. What a placement.
Yeah, fantastic
from number 9,
placement.
Medina Hindich. We take another look.
That's what,
wow.
You know, Ole has to be frustrated with the goalkeeping.
I was pleasantly surprised with how we did. I feel like we did compete to the level that we could. I think you could definitely tell like our lack of experience. I think some of our goals were generally just some mistakes, and I think it's like a combination of nerves and just not, having the experience playing at the pace that we were playing. It's really fast, and I think if we tighten that up, like we could have, stayed.
Yeah.
Really like there with them, which is cool. I think for our first game, especially going against a team like Ole, I was really proud of the way we played.
Yeah.
Made a fantastic play. You want to make that pass to the back foot and really give your teammate an opportunity just to slide it home first time, but Aldama was not able to handle it.
Midwest are able to work it up. How about this back post? A pretty goal. Raul Montañez doubles the lead.
Look, Aldama could not handle the pass to put it away himself, so he said, you know what, Montañez, I'm going to give it back to you, Raul. With a little back heel flick, just roll over, give it back to him. Montañez.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
Welcome back, everybody, to the third half on this amazing Thursday night, the first Thursday of 2026 and the first day of 2026 and the first FCS Live podcast in 2026 and maybe the first YouTube video you've watched in 2026. I don't know. But a whole bunch of firsts today. Alex Mendez joining us on the show. If you missed the first portion of the interview, really great stuff. Got to know who he is on his journey in soccer and futsal, including professionally in Guatemala, playing with the U.S. national futsal team in the late 2010s or mid-2010s, and more, including comments about playing in when the arena was not the arena and it was getting torn and broken apart in 1,000 pieces. Go back and watch it if you haven't seen it yet. But now we're going to turn our attention to what's going on in the FCS, including the game that you guys have against Ole this weekend. That's coming later. But first, let's do a little bit of recap on games that we saw 2 weeks ago because we took a week off. We'll start with this one because I know it was one that you weren't familiar with. This was Jenga securing the home victory 9-4 against Chicago. This was in Cincinnati. Chicago are at 0-5 now. They have pretty dire playoff hopes. Jenga now at a 500 record. This game was interesting to me in Chicago actually came out with a 2-0 lead. And then Jenga started to bring it back. I think they went to halftime up by 1, Jenga, where it was up by 1 at the halftime break. And then the second half, they kind of broke some things open. The score ended 9-4. We'll probably talk a little bit more about this later with the upcoming match of Chicago and Lansing. Mm-hmm. But the goals that Chicago gave up in this game it was just another moment that we've seen this where they give up goals that are very tough to see because you it just seems really easy. It seems like it's a positioning thing. It seems like it's an effort thing as far as either getting back or being in the right spot or tracking a player. And it turned out to be, I think the biggest difference in this game. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when we preview what's to come, because I know you guys have played Chicago twice, so you've had the chance to play them both ways. And the first game, that was the game you were like, just give me all the 10-meter penalties, and I'll just shoot them all. That was wild. Have you ever taken that many?
Not that many, bro. That was crazy. In the first half, too. It was in the first half.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was like just.
I took them, though.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Keep bringing them.
That was pretty wild. And then you guys played them, of course, at home as well. Kind of got out to a lead in that one, and then they came back. So we'll talk a little bit more about Chicago House in the upcoming one. So let's talk about where this puts Jenga. So they're at 3-3. They've played the most matches out of anybody in the league right now at 6. And right now, they're in a good pace to make the playoffs. Out of the 8 teams, there's 2 teams that won't make it. They'll be top 2 seeds will get a first-round bye, so seeding does make a difference, as well as the home seed or the lowest number seed. So, the better teams will get home court advantage throughout the playoffs as well until the final, which will be here in the Lansing City Arena. So seeding definitely makes a big difference, and that seems to probably be where Jenga maybe where their focus can be, because of having 2 teams at 0-5 does make it easier to get into the postseason. But they're still, they still have half a season to play, so you can't take it for granted. But they do, with this win, this was kind of one of the key ones, because if Chicago gets this one, this could actually be a game that, these 2 teams could have been fighting for a playoff spot, and they might still. But if Chicago won this game, they might have come down to these 2 teams for the last spot, and Chicago having the head-to-head would obviously be the decider. So this is a good one for Jenga to get at home. We saw Kokai Manami come out and play. I think this is the first time he played this season for them, and he had a goal and is a good player for them. And we'll have to see. Let's see, what do they actually have coming up? I want to check because they only have 4 more games. So they'll get Innovation City once again away, because they played them at home. Then they'll play you guys.
Okay.
2 more home games, including one against Ole, and then they'll get Midwest. So after their Innovation game on February 8th, they go back-to-back. So kind of a big gap for them. They don't play until February 8th, but they play on the 20th and the 21st, you guys, and then Ole the very next day. Oh, wow. So interesting back-to-back there, and they'll end the season with Midwest. So that's where Jenga are at right now at 3-3. If the game against Innovation goes how it went last time, then they'll prove to 4-3, and then they'll have a 3-game stretch against teams in the Grand Rapids or Greater Grand Rapids area. Do you count Muskegon as Greater Grand Rapids area? Kind of.
Yeah, let's count it.
It's sort of there. On the west side of the state of Michigan is where they'll be next. So let's go ahead and go on to the one that we actually had highlighted for this most recent weekend, but turned out to be quite lopsided. Ole winning 11-2, painting the town red, and Ole still undefeated in the FCS. This was a game, Alex, you said you were able to watch. What did you think about what happened in this game? I
think, overall, I think they're both great teams. Ole is definitely, there's a reason why they're up there. They got 3 great lines, and then you got Midwest that also tries to do the same thing, right? They got great players. But that day, they started out winning. And then
they scored first. Midwest did.
And they were playing good, but then, Ole tied it up, and then they scored the second one, and then it's almost like they thought it was over already. They just stopped defending. Some players were just not giving it their all. Just little things like that. You would see some goals. It's like, bro, why are you giving up?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think little things like that, you cannot give up those mistakes against Ole.
Yeah.
I think you can't. And when you're playing Ole, you got to be locked in.
Yeah.
I think that was their biggest issue. They started out well, but then as soon as the goals started coming in, they just gave up. It was, I think, 3-1 at half.
Yeah. Went to the locker room only down 2, which was similar last year when they played Ole. They played the very first game of the season. They tied 6-6, which was kind of a back and forth a little bit, or I think Ole went up a couple times and Midwest came back. But then the second time they played him in the season at Homeschool Building was kind of a similar story where the halftime break was pretty close, but then Ole ran away with it in the second half.
Yeah. They destroyed them second half.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't get it. I think Jose is a big part of their team. I mean, not to diss on Marcos either, but it's not his fault either.
Yeah.
Because all the goals were mostly just tap-ins, back post runs, boom.
Yeah.
And, you can't do that. I think Jose is a big part, but, also the team has to be on the same page because defensively, I saw, 3 plays that they just played it down the line and, they found Daniel a couple of times or Caesar. It's like those little things you got to be locked in, and it's a long game. It's stopped clock, so anything can happen. I can use the example when Chicago against us.
Yeah.
We were up by so much, and then, when you least expected, they tied it up.
Yeah.
So it's futsal.
Yeah.
Futsal does that. So.
That was a wild one, which we're going to have to talk about in a little bit.
Yeah.
But, you talk about Ole getting to the back post. It seems like, their ability, it's one of the things that's hard for me with Ole, and not really, it's actually a good thing, but it's I feel like players kind of get lost because they are so good across 3 lines. You kind of lose track of the individual player because they're doing so well, which is in one sense, it's that's actually kind of a good thing because it's as a player, it's actually seems like a good scenario that you kind of, you're sort of, everyone is playing well, so you don't have to have a spotlight, and
right.
you say it's not about me, it's about us, which is really cool. So I try to look for particular moments where I can pull out players. But I know in this game, we mentioned before we went on air, Gabe Villagomez, he had a really nice goal and beat Vicario, a player and Vicario, which you don't see very often. So he kind of stuck out to me. Of course, Ole is still undefeated in the FCS. Another thing I want to point out about this game is the Midwest did not have Coach Hector Fernandez there, which I believe is something that can be easy to miss. There's a lot of player coaches in the league, so it's not all that uncommon. Satoru Matsushima is a player coach, for example, for Jinga. But I think, and Gio Garcia did coach Midwest last year, and he wasn't a player coach really last year, only when they needed him. So he kind of took into that role. But just to have someone who is a dedicated coach, I think makes a really big difference. Yeah. And as someone who is a coach, even at a youth level, I'm sure you can
right.
notice, you can probably see how that would be a big difference.
Yeah, I think it would. It's just not the same. You're playing as well, and then when you make a mistake, who's gonna tell you what you're doing wrong?
Yeah.
It's always important to have someone there to let at least motivate the team. a little bit when you're doing something wrong. Let them know.
Yeah.
You know, and there wasn't nobody there. You know, Gio's playing at the same time he's coaching. Like, what are the players gonna say? Like, nah, you're just a teammate. You know, I'm just not gonna take advice from you. Don't get me wrong, Gio's a great player, but like, just little things like that.
Yeah,
it makes a big difference. But you know, I think Midwest just gave up. It was so obvious after the third, fourth goal. They just stopped playing.
Yeah,
it was so. Honestly, it was bad. How they played with us was crazy, and then, you know, you show up and play like this.
Yeah.
I wasn't too happy.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm sure they weren't happy as well with how that one went. So 2 big wins for Ole at home in a row. They played Chicago first, and then they get Midwest at home. Ole now at 3-0. Still having that loss in the FCS going all the way back to last year. And their very next game is against you guys. So, but before we get to that one, let's talk about the first half of that doubleheader, which is the women's Ole and Shoreline. Excuse me. So we've seen all the women's teams play now. Everyone's played one game. Shoreline and Chicago play. That one was a one-sided game for Chicago. And then Ole and Lansing was a close one. And then Ole, I think, ended up winning like 6-3 or something like that as the game went on. So this game, what I'm thinking is the way that what I've seen across the 2 games we've had is I expect for Ole and Chicago and Lansing to be competitive, and I see Shoreline as if they show what they did in the last one, I think it's going to be tough for them. And of course this is not to, you know, I'm not trying to be negative just to be negative or whatever. It's just like this is the reality we saw, and this is a good chance to put that to the test. We'll see if that opinion is right or not when you get a chance to play Ole, and then of course Lansing will play Chicago, so we'll get kind of a full view of the league in total. So I think this is the opportunity for Shoreline to say, like, if there's more than what was shown in that first one, like, this is the perfect opportunity to do it. You play against a team that has a history of, you know, women's futsal, some formal national team players and experience there. So, like, this is the perfect game to do it. And if you're Ole, it's like, all right, we're gonna, you know, we won our first one. You know, now's your opportunity to continue that. Any thoughts to add to that?
Yeah, no, you know, Ole, Fabian, like I said, Fabian, again, he's had a club for a while, and, you know, he's blessed that, you know, he's helped some of these girls grow up through their game, and now that they're older, they're playing on this team, so of course they're going to be good. Shoreline, they have talent. The problem is that they all have to get on the same page. You know, sometimes, I think before even that first game, they weren't even training. They just showed up to the game. So I think now they're starting to train together, but they just got to get on the same page because there's talent. There's a couple of good players that I know that are on that girls' team, on that women's team, and they just need to get on the same page and get some more training because together I don't think they've trained enough. But after that first game, now they've been training. So
awesome. I
think that's important. Hopefully they can, you know, compete.
Yeah. Hopefully that's what we see this weekend. So that's interesting insight to hear about because I know when we had Jenna Leon from Lansing City, it was similar. She's like, we came into this game and we'd only practiced like 4 times together, you know? So this is something that may be a part of the FCS women's this year is how teams, as the year goes on, more and more opportunity to play together. A team like Shoreline or Lansing, and you know, it seems like Ole kind of been playing together for a while. I don't really know for Chicago, maybe. Actually, I think they have some of their women's team came from outdoor playing together, so they have some of that. So we'll see what happens in this one here, and that brings us to kind of the big one for this weekend, at least for you and your squad. You guys get to play at Ole Futsal Saturday, 8:30. And one of the questions is there an intense rivalry emerging in this team's first meeting, which we kind of have to give a little bit of context in that just like Midwest and Ole, there's a lot of familiarity, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Chris played for Ole last year, right?
Yeah.
And then you guys have seen each other in other competitive scenarios in the Grand Rapids area, whether it be outdoor or street soccer. So first meeting, right? First meeting in the FCS, right? But what do you think about this? Do you feel like this is going to be kind of like a rivalry? What do you think?
I think it will become a rivalry if we beat them.
If
we
you
beat
them.
them.
Okay.
Right now, we don't see it as a rivalry,
Yeah.
We know that they're the top dogs right now.
Yeah.
But if we show out, they have the pressure.
Yeah.
They're undefeated. They have the crowd. What if they lose, What are they going to think? So,
yeah.
Like Caesar said, sometimes, we compete against each other over there in Grand Rapids. And, we tend to win most of the times. But they're also a great team. So, I can't say it's a rivalry yet, but I think it will turn into one if we do end up pulling away with the win. So right now, they're the team to beat. I think all the teams see it that way.
Yeah.
But all I can say is, we're going to come there humbly, do our game, and if we win, we win.
Yeah.
So
what do you think you guys will need to bring to come out and get a W here or compete?
The way I see it, they're a very good team, but we played these guys a lot, so we all know how they play.
Yeah.
What's their game? So I think if we lock their main 1v1 players, I'm gonna mention Gabe. He played on our Guatemala team too. He's a baller. They got little Daniel De Leon.
Yeah.
Baller. And then Jair. Those are the 3 players that I think that deserve the respect that, they need. Because if we lock those 3 players down, other than that, not worried about anyone else. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they're great players. So our goal is just to come in and do our game because we know we can score goals too.
Yeah.
We can score goals. So it's gonna be a good game.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I'm really excited to watch this one. So one of the things we talked about before we came on air, I asked you the question. I was like, hey, have we said anything that you very disagree with, right? Which is like, hey, you know what? Like I just try to give opinions and try to be as honest as I can. And one of the things that I frequently said about Shoreline is that I feel like there's a lack of fitness, and I feel like the second line, your guys' second line is not as strong, and that's hurt you guys. So what are in this game? I totally forget what I was going to say. I don't know if I was going to ask like you to give your perspective on that, or maybe it's just like, oh, here it is.
I think
so. Olay has the 3 lines, right?
Yeah.
So this, from the perspective of the opinion that I had, that seems like a pretty large disparity, right? If you have a second line that struggles and a team that has 3 lines. So in your view, how do you think? What's your view of that, and how maybe is it different, or how do you attack this 3 line? Olay team.
Yeah, they definitely got 3 good lines, so that makes them, powerful. But I think the way I see it and how, our game plan is we're gonna show up with 2 to 3 lines. So use that 3rd line when we need it. But right now, I can't spit it out, but you guys will see it.
Don't want to give all the secrets out right now.
Exactly. We're gonna watch us lose. No, we're definitely gonna compete. I can tell you that, and I think the biggest thing going through what you said, I think it looks that way. I mean, maybe I think fitness, but I'm still running and stuff. But a lot of the guys, we get ahead pretty early in the games.
Yeah.
So then when you get out second half, it's like you don't have intensity until they start coming back at us. Then we start playing again. Yeah. And it shouldn't be that way. I'm not saying, we're doing that on purpose. No.
Right. Yeah.
I think we chill down a little bit after we're up by 4 or 5 goals, because it happened to us in Chicago, and I think when we played them here, and then with Jinga.
Yeah.
So it's like we need to lock in. But I think in a game like this against Olay, we know that they can be dangerous in 20 seconds. The last 20 seconds they can turn it up on you.
Yeah.
So it's
like they did in the showcase.
Yeah, and like they did in the showcase here. So I think we just gotta be all locked in, because I think it's a game that I guess we can call it a Clásico that. It's just street credit, like Caesar said, and we're gonna show out and play and let the better team win. So
and like that, Olay is one of the teams that you can count on them to take advantage of the mistakes you make. Like they will, like when you make a mistake, you usually pay for it. You know what I mean? It's usually back post. Here we go. So like that obviously is a big deal there. So awesome. Well, I'm really excited to watch you guys play and Olay play this coming Saturday, 8:30. That's right here in FCS Live. It's going to be at home for Olay, so this is their 3rd home game in a row. First 2 have been they've scored in the double digits, so that's where we're coming in at.
Hopefully we don't. I don't think that's gonna happen though.
Yeah,
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
we ready to play. So
awesome. Well, that's super exciting. Saturday 8:30. Is this one. So let's go on to the other games that are going on this weekend. So first we have the women's, the other doubleheader, which is happening in Chicago. First, the women's team of Chicago taking on Lansing City. So this one's at 6 p.m. And I put on here, is it shaping up to be a thriller? So we saw Lansing City and Olay have a competitive match, and Olay went away with it in the second half. And then we saw Chicago perform very well at home. So I'm thinking maybe this is going to be an exciting game. Maybe these two teams are going to have a good matchup. We saw some talent, good talent from Chicago, also from Lansing, and I've heard when Jenna Lee was on the show from Lansing, she talked about a player that they have, I think, from Venezuela, who we haven't seen yet.
Wow.
So excited to see her play. Maybe she'll be on the court this weekend. And I'm pretty sure her words were like, when she's on the court, like you'll know. It was like her level of play was that noticeable that it's like when she's there, you'll know, which is a really exciting thing to expect. So it could be an interesting one. And I think for the women's division after this weekend, you have more full information because all teams haven't played everybody, but you've played enough that you can kind of make fair comparisons even more. So that'll be this Saturday at 6 p.m. Anything to add to that, Alex?
No, I mean, I think it's gonna be a good game because I mean, Chicago, they did really well against our team. So
yeah,
I think I didn't get to watch the game, but Lansing also competed with Olay, so that's gonna be a good game to watch. So,
awesome. Yeah, so that's Saturday at 6 p.m. and then the men play right after that at 8. And this is a tough position for Chicago. They're at 0-5. Definitely not how they pictured the year going for them. And then they're welcoming a Lansing City team that has looked really dangerous. Played neck and neck with Olay, first game of Olay of the year. Lansing City second game at home. I ended up losing that one, but then victory against Midwest at home. So they're looking like they're being solid. So for Chicago, this is where I wanted to ask you. You guys had a chance to play them twice.
Right.
What is your experience playing against them, and what do you think they need to bring to this game and even, this game starting the rest of the year to help, maybe turn their year around?
I think their biggest issue is defensively. I think they lack sometimes. They forget about their players. Futsal is a lot about, 1v1, sticking to your player, especially being goal side. I see it a lot like that. Unless you're the fixer, you got to front defend, right? But the most important thing is being with your player because they lack a lot of that where, they just find their players or they forget. Like, I played twice, and I was just, hiding back there. But they would always play me, and we would score off of that.
Yeah.
It's just little things like that. We were talking about it, the Jenga game. I think it was one play. They were worried about the goalkeeper, and they left the middle wide open, so the player just stepped in, and he hit it, and they scored.
Yeah.
So little things like that, they just got to be, locked in defensively, figuring out where their man is. And I think their coach needs to get on them because they got talent. Yeah. They have talent, they just don't defend. They can't defend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I thought was interesting when you talk about their talent on the offensive side. You experienced them coming back when you guys played them at home.
Yeah.
And I think they pushed their goalkeeper forward for a lot of that second half to give him that push. And they ended up tying the game, right? I think before you guys scored at the near the end. So what was the key to their success in that push to come back for you guys against you guys?
I think once they saw that they were in the game, they knew they could get back into it.
Yeah.
And we lacked a lot because we had never trained the flying the keeper and defending flying the keeper, so we struggled with that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those goals came from that. I think the keeper would shoot and they were on the back post, and that's one thing we focused on after that game. Working on that because we know Lay's really good at that.
Yeah.
But going to that, it's just they had that we're back in it, let's go.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying they're good. They got good players because that day they scored a bunch of nice goals.
Yeah.
When they're coming back on us, I was like, man, what the heck is going on? You know? It's
Yeah.
like, but then Chris had that last free kick, I think, and he put it in. So, or else it would have ended up in a tie. I think it was in the last minute Chris scored that goal.
Yeah. I think there was a foul and Chris put that one in.
They just got to believe more in themselves, I think, man.
Yeah.
They don't have that belief, or maybe they're too young, you know, and they don't. I'm sure they care that they're losing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure. I mean, we got to
0-5 is crazy because, you know, you see them play, and they're good players. There's some individuals that, you know, they can take you on.
Yeah.
But I think as a team, they don't know how to play as a team yet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's I think my view is similar, and what I would say is I feel like somebody in Chicago House has to take responsibility for what's happening defensively. That's, I think, kind of the best way. I don't know how harsh that sounds, but I feel like it's the best way I can try to communicate it, whether it's player or coach or whoever it is, because at this point at 0-5, it's like it's no longer something that just happened in one game. It's like it's something that is continually happening, and you can go, you know, and watch it. And so I think for Chicago House, it's like if I'm a player on that team, I'm like, guys, like, we are taking responsibility for this, and we are never doing this again. Like, we cannot have these defensive lapses that are controllable, right? Because that's the biggest piece, that when you're talking, you're like, there's talent on the team. Yeah. There's ability on the team. They came back against you guys. They believed, right? Yeah. So it's like, you know it's possible, and so if you want to get there, it's like you have to look at the things that are, you know, that you can do on defense, and it's like, guys, we have to take responsibility for this, and we can't do this anymore, you know. Right. Yeah. And that's, you know, because I see the same thing, and that's what I've been saying all year, is like, I know that they keep losing, and sometimes it's big, but I feel like there's more. I feel like there's more, and I want to see it from them, and we got to see glimpses of it in the summer. So I don't know. That's kind of my take. That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah,
and
they were putting a show in the summer.
Yeah.
When we played here, they looked really good.
Yeah.
And then I don't think it was the same team. They're missing a lot of those players that were here, I think. But I don't know. I think the first game, you know, Midwest destroyed, and then we came in, and I think we got lucky with those PKs too. But, you know, we were better than them, and I don't know if they're just down and they need to get back up, get that confidence. But
there's definitely moments where you see it. So we'll see what they can bring. And this would be a big game. I mean, for them, you know, right now at 0-5, if they want to make the playoffs, they're going to have to do something big in the last half of their season. They play Lansing City here. This will be the first time they play Lansing City, but they'll play Lansing City twice. They also have Midwest again, and then they get Detroit Imperial and Innovation. So that's kind of how their season is going to be turning out. So this is kind of at any point, I feel like it's another opportunity for them to show that they, you know, the potential that I feel like we see in them. So that's Lansing City and Chicago this game. I think I saw a couple things in the chat. Chicago and Lansing women game could be a barn burner, so that one could be exciting. And let's see. Yeah. Luke kind of with a similar take as what we had as far as Chicago House and Lansing. This would obviously be a huge win for Chicago House to get a result here against Lansing City. When Lansing City traveled, from their perspective, you know, when they traveled to Innovation, they were missing a lot of players. Mm-hmm. They had to rely on youth, which they actually had some players that did very well from the youth side. So we'll see what their squad looks like. You know, are they going to be traveling Chicago with more full strength or not? And so we'll see how that turns out at 8 p.m. So 4 amazing games this weekend, 2 men's, 2 women's games coming up. Last couple of questions. We have so I think
that's my nephew.
You said he's one that's playing.
He's playing in Mexico right now.
In Mexico, okay. So what do you think is your all-time best futsal squad that you've played with?
It depends. I mean, I don't know if he's talking about 5 players or like a whole team. You know, there's definitely a lot of talent, but excluding myself, I would probably put, you know, definitely Aldoni. The younger boys, I don't know if I can say it. You know, they're still too young, but they're definitely up there. Like Gabe is a baller.
Yeah.
little Daniel. He wants me to say him, but I'm not going to say him. I'm not going to say him.
He's trying to get
But
you.
no, their team was so good growing up, you know, watching those 4 boys because they're the same age, so they're really close.
Okay.
It was him, Gabe, Daniel De Leon, and then Alan Lemus.
Oh,
he plays for Midwest.
Yep.
My brother had them, so their team name was Guatemala. So
Okay.
growing up, you know, they were traveling, playing, and they would always go win nationals down in Kansas.
Yeah.
They were a good team, but
That's awesome.
That's what he wants me to say. He wants me to mention him, but no, I think there's a lot of talent. You can't just pick one team, you know. But I definitely pick my boys over anybody. So
yeah. That's awesome. And then a take on the Chicago and Shoreline game being fueled by having the women's team in the stands. It did feel like it did kind of feel like you guys were away.
Right.
Is that how it felt to you?
Those girls were, oh my God, they were being so annoying, man. I think they helped them out.
Yeah.
They got back into it. You know, they scored the first one. They were already chanting. They were losing by I think 5 or 6 goals. But they were still chanting.
Yeah.
And so once they scored. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
They're really going to come back on us. So
wow.
It sucks, but then it's part of the game.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this weekend, though. It's going to be packed.
Yeah, and they'll be at home, and then they'll have the women's team beforehand, so they may have a similar thing. So, you know, if that's how it sounded when they were playing, you know, in Muskegon, then maybe it'll be even another level this weekend. So some really exciting games this weekend. That's going to wrap it up. Any final words for all the fans out there?
No, I mean, I just want to thank you guys for the opportunity, and, you know, what you guys are doing with the sport, and, you know, the league is amazing. And I think it's just the beginning of something great. So,
well, I thank you for that. Thank you for that. It's great to have you here. This was a ton of fun. Thanks so much for tuning in to the third half tonight, everybody. Alex Mendez of Shoreline City driving out here and joining us here in the Lansing studio. Appreciate his time, and we're excited to see you guys in action against Olay this weekend. I think a lot of people are excited for that one.
It's going to be a good one.
And, of course, the 3 other games that are going on. So lots of fun to have this weekend. It's all going to be on FCS Live. Let's just confirm the schedule. So 6 o'clock, women's Chicago and Lansing City, 6:15. So you got to have 2 screens. You're going to have 2 screens for this weekend. 6:15 Olay and Shoreline women's. And then 8 o'clock, Chicago House Lansing men's. 8:30 Olay Shoreline men's. So futsal all evening long this Saturday. That wraps it up for the show today. Jared Kleppel, Alex Mendez, special guest joining us. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys in the next one. See you later.
The attack.
Kleppel now with it. Space inside. Shot. He finds the back of the net. Lansing City up by 1.
We haven't said it yet this season, but what a rocket from Jeremy Kleppel across.
Lyle turning his back, trying to get in front of it and also protect himself as Kleppel finds the side net and gives Lansing.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Go into the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Nice run out of here at Lansing City. Oh, excellent play. Lansing City with a goal. We were just talking about Olay's ability to make the extra pass, and wouldn't you know it, Lansing City does the same exact thing.
Like, if I'm a fan of Midwest and I watch that game And we have what I would be, in my opinion, one of the best keepers in the league. And he's not playing the second half.
And to Marco, what we saw, he gave up 6 goals. Lucario was in there for 20 minutes. First half, didn't give up any. And so, that's a huge disparity.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.